So the reason this dimension, this first vector, is so important is because it's the vector that determines spiritual awakening. Where your awareness is coming from in any given moment is what determines the degree to which you're actually liberated or free moment to moment. But these spiritual traditions also speak about other vectors. And the other one that I want to mention tonight is the general vector of states, or the general vector of opening different realms of reality. And in the book, I speak about two different ways in which we enter into various states and realms. I use these fancy academic terms, endogenic and exogenic. What that means is that endogenic means that the states or the access to the realms is generated from within, and exogenic means it's generated from without. And the reason I want to mention this is because I know many people here are involved in working with We Practice or with Thomas Hubel's community, and I just want to make some links for people where they might not be as obvious. So if I'm sitting with Fred, and as Fred and I are sitting together, and I just allow my awareness to relax, and I begin to receive all of the information that Fred has in his being, he can't hide because it's here and it's present, I'm beginning to tune into Fred beyond his physical body, beyond the gross realm, and I'm beginning to tune into the subtle fields and subtle information that's here available with him. If we go even further, we can turn into the causal sort of karmic propensities and tendencies that Fred has. But that capacity to tune into the information available on various layers has much more to do with what I call spiritual cultivation, the cultivation of access to various realms of energy or information. And that's very different than the direct experience of knowing where your awareness is coming from in any given moment. One's looking inward towards subjectivity, the other's looking outward and penetrating through layers of reality. And the reason I make that distinction here, because I'm not sure everybody's clear on that. A lot of people think spiritual awakening has to do with psychic intuitions into multiple realms, and it doesn't. You can have massive psychic opening, you can see karmic streams, but it has nothing to do with spiritual realization. And one of the main points in this book that's really explained over and over again from many different angles, using many different examples from traditions, is to make that distinction crystal clear. Because in classic integral theory, we have a distinction between what we call structures, or the worldviews, and states. And that's often where it's left. Sometimes we talk about state stages, and state stages are similar to what we'd call vantage points, but the distinctions just weren't very clear. So what I've done in this is to show that you can, at any given moment, be at any vantage point. You can be coming from any structure stage of development, and you can penetrate into any realm. And those three vectors are at least the fundamental vectors that we need to consider if we're going to truly explore a translineage spirituality, because they're all important. And one of the things that I love about this distinction between vantage points and access to states and realms is that it actually allows us to then re-embrace some of the great wisdom from the shamanic traditions. So often there's this categorization that shamanic traditions are subtle, meaning that they don't take it all the way to awakening. But in fact, shamanic traditions aren't concerned with awakening. Shamanic traditions are actually concerned with how do we access multiple dimensions and realms of reality. And so they're actually just looking at a different vector. And so one of the things I love that I speak about here are how do we begin embracing all traditions, honoring what their actual gifts are according to these various elements that I find to be important for translineage spirituality.